Hello everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. So let's break down GBP JPY. So we saw price respect 199 last week. We could not break 199. We saw this double bottom pattern, and we saw a shift in momentum. I was looking for a break and retest of this intraday resistance, but I just didn't get the 30-minute confirmation candle. Um, I also was looking for a break and retest of this resistance right here. But again, I did not get the confirmation candle. So there was no confirmation, there was no retest. Maybe if you scrolled onto the 10-minute, you could, but if you go on the 30-minute, this was the retest. I just wasn't feeling that retest. It wasn't an engulfing, it wasn't my part of my system to trade it. So I just did not take the trade. And price did continue to shoot up. If you go into the 4-hour time frame, we can see that price came back for a big rejection right here, and shifted up and continued all the way to the upside. So there were some opportunities. If I was a bit more aggressive, maybe I could have capitalized on it. But since I did not get the clean engulfing on my entry confirmation candle on the 30-minute time frame, I did not take the trade. So we could see there's a shift in momentum and a bullish variation pattern on the 4-hour time frame. We can also see on the daily we've continued this bullish momentum. Now, I am looking for buys. Look how bullish the weekly is. It's very bullish. We've closed above the previous wick high. So it does not make sense for me to be looking for sales. I am looking for price to either return back into this area of support for a double bottom and price to continue up, or we can see price break and retest. We've seen a break and retest of this area, break and retest of this area, and now I'm looking for a break and retest of this area for price to continue the pattern it's been forming recently. So that's what we are looking for. I'm going to wait for a buy here, or if price can come here and give me a rejection, I'll look for buys there. Very simple, very clean. Um, yeah. Regarding US 30, we can see again, as I've mentioned in the past, I am forward testing US 30 currently, but we can see that on the weekly time frame that we are bullish since we have taken out these highs, right? We've seen a strong bullish engulfing as well, so there's a higher probability that price will continue up than fall. On the daily time frame, we can also see that price has closed above and given us that retest, so we can look to take buys up. Even on the 4-hour time frame, we've seen these 4-hour rejections of these lows, and I can see the next area of support is this level here and this resistance here. So that is my next TP. If price can break and retest that level, I can look for buys into our next level of resistance of around 39734.5. Very simple. If the daily does give us an engulfing, right? If we get an engulfing, maybe we can look for a retest and sells back down into these lows, but that's more of a lower probability, and maybe it would have less risk behind it since we are looking very bullish. You could even have a longer TP, but again, you could throw your stops if you want such a big TP. In regards to Nasdaq, we can see that the weekly is clearly bullish. When you zoom out, we can just see there's been bullish momentum. Price has not been bearish, well, at all in the last. Even if you just zoom out, we've just been rising forever, right? So we're always going to bend towards buys overall. If we go to the daily time frame, we can see an engulfing, which may give us some indication that, you know what, that there could be a short-term reversal, right? For an example, when price rejected this area, we saw a short-term reversal, and then we continued the bullish momentum. When we had an engulfing here, we saw a short-term reversal, and then we continued up. Now we can either see another short-term reversal, in other words, a pullback on the daily time frame back into our next area of support. So that's that. We can also see on the 4-hour time frame we were forming a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, break of structure, pullback, continuation to the downside. Now we can see this is currently what is going on. So for me to look for buys, I would like the 4-hour to go bullish again, give me that retest, and I can look for buys back into that area of resistance. So ultimately, I am looking for buys. You could wait for price to break 19838 around this area of resistance. We can also see it's a nice support as well. Wait for that retest. Wait for that retest and look for buys back into those highs. If price can break these highs, we can look for a break and retest and continuation to the upside. Now, there is a possibility we could form a double bottom and come push back down. But again, we cannot guess that. We just need to see what price does. So for me, it's very simple: break, retest for buys, and that's what I'm bending towards since we are overall bullish. But since the 4 hour has shifted momentum in the medium term, we could potentially see something like this back into this area of support. Since this is such a strong support and we saw such strong momentum out of this support, if we get a rejection here and price maintains above this area of 19.5, which is a nice round psychological level, we can look for buys back into these highs right here. Regarding SPX, it's literally the same thing. We can see that um, it's the same as NAS really. It's shifted bearish. We're looking for that break retest for pushes up, or we can see price potentially push back down here. This is a previous high. This is just a reference point. I'm going to see how price does, what price does here. Is it really an entry area? Not really. I would rather enter at this area of support, which has shown lots of buying pressure. But this was a previous intraday resistance, so you could maybe take intraday buys back into these highs from this level. However, that's just more of a TP for me, and we can see how price reacts there. But again, I'm looking for a break retest into these highs, or you can wait for price to come down into here and see what happens, or even into this support to see what happens for long-term buys. Very simple breakdown. I hope that was very helpful, and I hope you all have a great trading week. You stick to your trading rules, you stay disciplined in other areas of your life, as ultimately that will rub off into your trading disciplines as well. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a profitable trading week.